Okay, we will do the ordinance as we came to do tonight. Does anybody have any comments or questions on any of these before we get started?
Rex, I was hoping there'd be more people here tonight since budget's been such a big topic around town. It's really kind of disappointing, because I think we need some clarifications. I'm going to go ahead and go through these, and I want everyone to know, since Paper's not here,
We are on live stream.
Yeah.
right?
Mainstream.
Okay.
but for the public, I sent some questions to Brenda. I feel like as a council and as administration and as department heads, we've been kind of attacked by the budget from previous years, and some things being brought up. So Rex, I shared those questions with you. I did give them to Brenda earlier. And the reason I did that, like I said, I want public clarification on some things, and I want it to come from the horse's mouth. Brenda is the elected official that is an overseer of the budget, and I just think it's important that we get this clarified from her. So, Brenda, the first question: has a balanced budget been put forth each year of your term?
Yes.
Did the State Board of Accounts accept that? And I think it's a little bit more involved than that.
Right. So first of all, it is not the State Board of Accounts who approves our budget. It is the LGF, which is the Department of Local Government Financing. I have to, basically, I get with department heads, see what their needs or wants are. If I don't, Greg does. Then Greg and I come together with a budget. Once that budget is set and Greg is on board with it and I feel like it's ready to present, I present to the LGF and they approve. They will not approve a budget that is not balanced. You have to have a balanced budget for them to approve it. And then after it's approved, then I bring it to council, because if they don't approve it, I can't bring it to council.
Would you say that again, please?
If the LGF does not approve your budget, you cannot bring it to council. It has to be a balanced budget to get approved.
So the LGF is an entity within the State Board of Accounts.
It is the department, it's its own entity. It's the Department of Local Government Finance.
So they accepted each of those budgets?
Yes.
From each of those years?
Yes,
Then those budgets were presented to the mayor, he looked over it, then they were brought to the council for approval,
Yes.
correct? Did each of those yearly budgets end up in a balance?
they
Balance
have to
positive
be-
or negative?
Yeah, they all ended up
In
in
a
the black.
positive?
Yes,
Yes,
in a
they were in
positive.
a-
Yes,
So
yeah.
they were not in the red or anything like that? Does the budget have a separate line item for the health insurance?
We do, that is account 287, and that is a line item that falls within the general fund bank account. So even though that particular line item is in the negative, the total amount of the whole general fund bank account is still in the positive.
Okay, I want to go into that a little bit.
Okay.
Because Rex, myself, the mayor, and was it Mike at the last pre-meeting with the auditors? Okay, we got a report from him, correct? Correct? And we had to sign off on an affidavit that we could not discuss that information until the state released that,
That's correct.
correct?
Which they released it to the public on October 12th.
Okay, and our meeting was when? 2 weeks prior to that?
Oh, no, early
it's
August.
months.
2
It's
months.
early
Months
August,
prior
yeah.
to that,
Months.
yes.
So,
Yeah,
so we could not discuss that because we signed an affidavit saying we wouldn't
And I
until
could
that
not
release.
discuss it
You
either.
could not discuss it either, could you? In that report, They couldn't change anything from our discussion, could they? They had to present that report as they presented it to us, correct?
Correct.
There are items on there that were listed as being in the negative, correct? And of those items listed as being in the negative, how many of them were taken care of prior to or a couple of days afterwards?
All but two.
All but two, and those two were,
The health fund and EMS, and as where EMS can fall in the negative or the positive is, so for example, the ambulance comes and gets me. I'll just use myself as an example. They come and get me, and they take me to the hospital. Okay, so hospital sends a bill to our broker, which is UGS. They are not our insurance company. They negotiate with the hospital of how much the city itself has to pay for my claim to the hospital. That could take upwards of a month or two, depending on how long it takes to negotiate, you know, how long it takes our broker to send a bill to the hospital. They send it to, the hospital sends the bill to our broker, and then they send the bill to us. So I go to the hospital today, it may be 3 months or 4 months down the road before the city ever sees the money coming back from my insurance of what we had to pay out for that.
and they have to supply stuff for the vehicles, right?
Correct,
Around that-
yeah. Anything that they would have used on me on the way, anything, that is all gas, wear and tear on vehicle, all that is calculated into me going to the
So
hospital.
basically, that's a fluctuating
Yes.
up and down
It can go
account.
negative, positive, negative, positive.
So at some point, it could be in the black, at
Yep.
some point, it could be in the red. You
Yes.
don't know, there's no control into that.
Correct,
Because of the process.
correct,
Isn't that kind of like the health insurance?
yes.
You don't know what billing's coming in and when.
You have no idea.
No idea.
That's always a moving target.
Yeah, you have no idea who, I get a report every Tuesday of how much money, is coming out of the bank on Friday for anything that gets, that we have to pay out for health insurance. It's an automatic withdrawal. We can't say, no, we're not paying that. We don't have that option. It's an automatic withdrawal.
And since that health insurance is in the general fund, if you were to say, I'm gonna go pay this off, what would that do to other budget lines?
So that would, essentially, every line that is in Bank One has a budget line. Because the health fund is in the negative, we may or may not be able to sustain that whole budget. But if all that money were in there, there would be $8 million more in the bank to cover everything in Bank One, under the general fund account.
And you would have told anyone the answers to these questions.
Listen, I've asked people to come into my office, and I've had one person show up.
As you worked with auditors, and as I told you, I know the answer to this one. Did they give you some advice in helping streamline different parts of the budget and making reports easier for them and you to look over and go through?
So what State Board of Accounts does, all the way through an audit, is they look at everything, and they say, well, we can't say you have to do this, but we would make a suggestion. This would be easier for you when we come back for another audit, or it would be easier for you when you're trying to figure out your budget. So they are very easy to work with, in my opinion, on how they want us to do things, how they suggest that we do things. It's not like they're trying to come in here. I mean, they're not coming in here to bully you or run over you. They're coming in here to see what needs to be fixed, what could be done better, and they advise us to do that. And I would think that anyone would go and do what the state board advises you to do.
Because that makes their job easier, correct?
Correct.
Going through this, and Rex, Greg, you can help me out on this, hearing what we went through, I think they were very forward with saying, we'll help you out with anything to make this easier for you and us, to simplify things.
Well, really, that's what the State Board of Accounts, I mean, certainly they're there to look for malfeasance, or they're there to look for problems, but their biggest goal, I think, most of the time, from the dealings I've had, is to help us do a better job of being able to administrate the money and being able to do the reports so the state will know what's going on at any given time. So, I mean, they're more than, a lot of people think of the State Board of Accounts as a bunch of bad guys, but they're not that. They're there to help us. And that's what their report does. It helps us.
And all of those that I've sat through, I've never got any other feeling than there. And that's part of the problem with that new software program, that it didn't match up downloading the data, the state form, to the state's
Correct.
data site, correct?
Correct.
And that's why you had to go back.
Re-enter.
Some of the stuff would download or go in directly, but you had to go through a
Correct.
lot of paper
Correct.
for over a year.
Yeah. Well, we re-entered the year 20 and 21 in 22 while sustaining 22
Because of that.
because of that, yes.
Did they ever come out and say that someone was stealing money or
No,
misappropriations?
As a matter of fact, I think we sat in one of those exit interviews where they said, no money has been stolen, no money is misappropriated, no money, you know, I think we actually sat in a meeting where they said that, but absolutely not, no money has been stolen.
No, we have other revenues other than taxes,
Yes.
right? And what are some of those? And I know you guys on the finance committee know all this. And I think you guys have done a tremendous job of allocating these funds and putting them to good use for a city. It's not been wasted. What are some of those?
So I'll start with utilities. We have, we budget for utilities, but we also have income from water, sewer, storm, sanitation. That all gets income that comes in over and above what we budget. Street gets MVH and MVH restricted, and local road and street. That is for paving and whatnot for the roads here in the city. That's over and above budget. Let's see. what else?
Riverboat, Lloyd?
Transportation, I'm going through my
Okay.
departments in my head. Transportation, they are grant funded. Then we have ARP, which council has used for lots of projects out in the city. Riverboat is another example. It's taken care, it had money go to the Riley Sidewalk Project, Fitzgerald Trail. It's given money to Main Street, and all of the work that has been done has been for the betterment of the community, and it has also allowed us to apply for more grants. All the good work that's being done with all that money is helping us apply for more grants, because we have shown that we are good stewards of that money.
And Rex pointed that out with a couple of examples as the
Right.
mayor.
And then Lowit is a big one. That, some of that money goes to fund salaries.
Police, fire, and EMS.
Police, fire, and
It's
EMS,
emergency.
because that's all, it's
Emergency
emergency services. And, let's see, what else did we use it for? We use it for, payments, lease payments.
Of new vehicles.
Yes, there is, each department gets $30,000 out of that money every year to spend on what they feel they need. And since fire's here, I'm gonna speak to fire. They're using all their money for training.
And it shows, you guys have
Yeah.
data with all the new certifications.
Yeah, I mean, we
that
have
the
guys,
department's on.
we have guys trained in things, like several guys that we used to only have one person trained in. So now, if we would need that in two different areas, we have more people that can respond to different things because of the training these two are doing.
And actually, we've used that money to recuperate building structures that were emptied out, sitting
Oh, yeah,
empty.
we used it, yeah.
The street department, EMS, police department, utility department, and, but as I said, that money's put to use very well.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Anything else that you want to add?
I feel like it all rests on my shoulders and the wrong people are taking the blame, and it all rests right here on me, and I got big shoulders and I'll wear it. I'll hold that.
That's all I have, Briggs.
Does anybody have any objections to lumping these together?
I don't know.
If not, I'll move we pass ordinances 3904 through 3911, third reading.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Koger.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Steckenthal.
Aye. Motion passes, and we've got the budget settled, and take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, now you guys get to sign all these.